Hey, y'all. Okay, as I promised, here's a guided meditation for this last Wednesday's class. Before we do that, I'm just going to give us just a brief recap of some of the key items that we explored in our session on Wednesday. First of all, we talked about mindfulness being the practice that gently returns our attention to the only place that life is happening, which is in the present moment. We also explored that meditation isn't about stopping our thoughts. Instead, it's about noticing when the mind has wandered and just gently bringing it back. Remember inviting the puppy back? Um, Back to whatever our concentration point is, whether that's the breath, the body, or another point of focus. Right now, we're going to be mostly using the breath. We discussed how mindfulness gradually changes our relationship to our thoughts, emotions, sensations. So rather than trying to get rid of the difficult experiences, we learn to meet them with uh, greater openness and less gripping or less resistance. As we become more aware of our habitual reactions, we start to create space to respond with more wisdom, um, more awareness, more intention, instead of living on autopilot. One idea that seemed to resonate with many of you last week was the second arrow metaphor. So, pain and difficult experiences are just part of being human, but much of our suffering comes from the stories and the judgments and the resistance that we have about those things that come up. Mindfulness helps us let go of that second arrow. We also talked about meeting ourselves with gentle curiosity instead of self judgment, creating the conditions. It helps to create the conditions for our healing and our growth. We explore the image of awareness as the vast open sky, if you remember that, the big blue sky, while our thoughts and our emotions are like the passing clouds or the passing weather. The weather changes, but the sky remains spacious enough to hold it all. And finally, we reflected on how mindfulness naturally supports kindness and compassion for ourselves and actually for others. As our practice deepens, we begin to relate to ourselves with more patience, more warmth, more understanding. We're going to explore some of the neuroscience behind these ideas in our next week's session. But for now, let's simply experience the practice together. Um, so I'm just going to encourage you to settle in, get comfortable in whatever uh, place you want to be doing your meditation practice. And let's get started. Okay, so let's begin by finding a posture that is both comfortable and um, awake. Comfortable and awake. Allow your body to settle in and slow down, but settling into the support that is already there. Letting your weight, letting your body be held by the chair or the sofa or the cushion, letting it hold you just as you are. And if it feels comfortable, gently close your eyes. You can also simply soften your gaze. You don't necessarily need to be looking at the screen or this video. It's mostly about the audio now. I mean, you can if you want to, but it's not necessary. And just soften your gaze. And then just take a slow breath in and a long, easy breath out. And again, breathing in, breathing out. Just letting your breath become just your normal rhythm. Just noticing the breath and how it's already happening. You don't have to make it happen. For the next few minutes, there's really nowhere else you need to be. There's nothing else you need to accomplish. We are going to simply practice coming home over and over again to this present moment. Your awareness back to your body. Feel the weight of your body resting. If your feet are on the floor, noticing that. Notice how they make contact. Notice how your hands make contact wherever they are resting. And again, just back to the breath. Awareness back to the breath. Don't need to change anything, just noticing what is there. Perhaps you notice the warmth of the air as you breathe in through your nostrils or your mouth. Maybe you notice the movement of your chest, like the rise and the fall of your chest or your belly. Or maybe you don't notice anything but stillness. Whatever you discover, whatever you notice is perfectly welcome. Allowing your attention to be with the breath. We're going to let the breath become a home base, if you will, a place where you can return your attention whenever it wanders. Sooner or later, it will. Again, just like the puppy that we're training, if the mind or when the mind wanders away to a thought or an idea, a plan, just just gently inviting it back to the breath and how you're noticing the breath. And it wanders away, and the moment you notice, you invite it back without judging yourself, without trying to push thoughts away. Simply acknowledge where the mind went and gently escort your attention back to the breath. We do this again and again and again. That is the practice. Each time we return, we're strengthening the capacity to be present. This practice, coming back to the breath, is one that we will do so many times as we develop our practice. Whether someone's practiced first time or 30 years like myself, this is a practice we always come back to. And for now, next, we're going to start to widen our awareness, allowing or noticing sounds that might be in the room with you. Perhaps you notice body sensations. Maybe your legs are getting tired or numb, or you feel your back, your nose itches. Noticing it and then just coming back. Rather than becoming caught in any one of the experiences, we just simply notice that the experience is happening and they always change, just like the clouds that move across the sky. A thought comes and it always goes. A sensation, a body sensation appears and then it shifts, it changes. Same with emotions. Our experiences are continually changing. We're just noticing that and allowing it to be okay. Awareness itself is like the open sky, spacious enough to hold every kind of weather. Even if there's something you're resisting right now, even if you wish for some part of this meditation to be different, rather than struggling against it, see if you can simply make a little bit of room for it. It's just a practice of, um, rather than fighting with our experiences, that creates more suffering, like the second arrow. Just allowing things to just be as they are. We're just doing it for a few minutes. So just letting it be as it is. Just notice if a little more ease naturally becomes available. And then for this last little bit, just allowing yourself to rest in simple awareness. So if you can imagine um, the big blue open sky, and you just simply, to the degree that we can, just rest there. The body's breathing as it does. Sounds come and go, still with the blue sky. Thoughts appear and then they dissolve, still with the blue sky. The blue sky, or that awareness, is just holding it all with a quiet steadiness. Mind wanders, gently return. If nothing much is happening, let that be enough as well. As we begin or continue practicing mindfulness over time, something is going to begin to unfold. We discover that we can become a little kinder, have a little more compassion with ourselves in these moments. And it's helpful to slow down in these ways so we notice those subtle moments, right? Less caught in the automatic reactions. We're just more available, more able to meet ourselves, and frankly, more available to meet others with more patience and compassion and even something like wisdom. Okay, let's just take 3 slow, easy breaths. Remember to feel your body, feeling your breath, your inside and your inner landscape here. So just have one last kind of look or feel around, remembering what it's like to be in here. And remember that as this meditation comes to an end, just remembering that mindfulness isn't something we're going to leave on the cushion. It's something we can carry with us to the next conversation, or as we go to cook our dinner, or whatever's next. And gradually, as we continue these practices, that will happen more and more. When you're ready, you can wiggle your fingers and your toes. And at your own pace, if your eyes are closed, you can start to open them. Just having one last moment to appreciate that you showed up for yourself in this way. And welcome back. Okay, so there's a practice that you can do, um, a guided practice. You can also do this practice in a much simpler way, as I mentioned on Wednesday at the end of the class. You can simply just be with the breath, right? Um, there's a lot of things that will happen with that, but you can use your fingers, right, and just count the breaths. One round, and inhale and exhale is one full round, and that's one. And it's a little bit arbitrary, but I'll just say count to 21. That seems to be out about the place where we start to feel our mind and our nervous system start to settle a little bit. And there's a Tibetan word, which is shamatha. That's the practice. And the translation of that is calm abiding. So we're counting our breaths until that uh, calmness starts to show up. Okay, that's it. I will see you on Wednesday. All right, take care.